Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to Sex, Lies, and Consciousness with your luscious hostess, May Vu, broadcasting live every Monday at 12 noon Pacific Time.
Hello, everyone. This is May. Welcome to the show. And today's show is bold and daring. We call it Unleash Your Kitty. Somehow when I say the word kitty, it has to be a little British influence. So it's about wanting to talk. I want to talk to my girlfriend about how do you do these fun things inside our bedroom, like role-playing or enhancing our creativity and unleashing our sexual power in the bedroom with our partner. So this show would be perfect if you are feeling a little stuck in the rut with your relationship, and if you want to spice things up but you don't know how, or if you're shy about it, and or if you feel pressured or incompetent when you think about being a sexy kitten and doing some hot, naughty stuff with your partner, or if you even want to learn how to talk dirty. Because all of this stuff are really intimidating. I mean, that's what I found for myself. I always hit up against my fears and that I'm not creative enough or not sexy enough or fun enough. There's a lot of not enough stuff. And to try anything creative other than turn out the light, honey, and let's have some quick sex so that we can go to bed and get up in the morning and go to work kind of thing. So today my partners in crime is Deborah Smoose, a hot executive coach. She's so much of a partner in crime with me that I love her because she's, an upstanding executive coach, having really powerful clients out there working with her, and she's sexy. She gets to bring her sensuality and her essence into her work. Things, all the stuff that I aspire to do myself. So anyway, it's just fun to get to have a personal conversation with Deb about role playing and about lingerie and being a little naughty so that we can really ultimately to enhance and get to know our sexy power in our bodies so that we can really own it in life. You know me, it's never just about the toys or the titillation. It's always about the consciousness behind what I do. So, Deb, welcome to the show, honey.
Thanks so much. I'm so excited to be here.
Tell them a little bit about. Oh, actually, before you tell them, let me just tell the audience that if you want to call in and join the conversation, the number to call in is 646-200-0813. Or to chat with us live during the show, or you can click the show link on Sex, Life, and Consciousness and join the conversation via chat. All right, tell them about yourself so that we can dive in.
Okay, great. I am a 43-year-old in a committed relationship. I think that's important to talk about when we're talking about sex and relationships, to know where I'm coming from. Before that, I was married for 17 years. And I've been divorced 7 total now, and I've been in this relationship for 2 years.
Keep your voice up, honey. It might not.
Sorry. And I've been in this relationship for 2 years. So 17 years married, 7 years divorced, 5 years single and dating and playing around and exploring my sexuality. And the last 2 years, I've been in a committed relationship, monogamous.
Yeah.
And I'm thrilled to pieces to be able to talk to people about having an honest and open sex life, and having conversation around sex and relationships and, what really makes you tick. Because without communication with your partner, neither of you are going to have your needs met.
Yeah.
So I think this is a very important part. And I know a lot of times it's uncomfortable. And it's important to allow your partner to see you vulnerable. I mean, that's one of the things that I'm a big proponent of, is if you don't get vulnerable, you're never going to be able to practice any kind of courage.
Yeah.
And being honest with your sexuality is courageous.
It is. It's so courageous, and it's so it's daring, and we don't have a lot of modeling for that. You know, the model that gets shoved down on our throats are usually from Hollywood or the porn industry, and it's very misconstrued, misunderstood, mispresented, and it's just not healthy.
No. I mean, because you can't read a Playboy or a Playgirl magazine or watch a porn and get what a healthy sexual relationship looks like.
Yeah.
And, you know, if you're in a committed relationship, you know, we're talking about spicing things up. In a committed relationship, you know, there is that after the honeymoon period's over, whether it's, you know, a true honeymoon after a marriage or the first year of a relationship, you know, things do or can get a little stale, a little boring, a little too routine, and you're afraid to rock the boat, so you don't speak up.
Yeah. And not only are we afraid to rock the boat, but we also have to come up with against so much conditioning, you know. Like, I know for myself, you know, just even walking into Victoria's Secret and buying something naughty versus a practical bra. You know, like I did get to buying those what do they call those bras? The miracle bras. Yeah, like I had justified enough that I could, you know, be proud of owning miracle bras, but to even go beyond that and buying things that is not practical and not necessary, you know, just brought up so much stuff in my head.
It brings up so much stuff about worthiness. Oh, well, I can't spend this much on a bra because, well, no one's going to see it but me, or that's crazy, or...
What does that mean about me? Does that mean I'm a loose woman, or does that mean I'm really not that satisfied in this relationship and I'm hoping for something else, or, you know, like, you know, I don't know where the heck this stuff came from, but it's definitely stuck in my head.
Well, and I think that one of the things I wanted to talk about is, you know, we are planning on talking about lingerie, and you know, there's a whole gamut of expense, you know, because I know some people really are on a budget, but it doesn't mean you can't treat yourself to a really lovely piece of lingerie that makes you feel sexy. Or it doesn't mean you can't go in your closet and find some sort of outfit for a little role play that can bring some spice into your world and isn't going to cost you anything.
Yeah.
One of the number one things that I think is sexy on a woman is a man's white button-up shirt.
Mm-hmm.
And that's probably in the closet, you know, in the closet. Here we each have our own closet, so all I have to do is go into the other closet and pull a shirt off the rack, and I'm set.
Yeah.
And a pair of cute panties, and you're good.
You're good to go for the night, honey.
Oh, wait. For the night.
And the little glasses, too, you know, like put on a little pair of glasses and, you know.
I guess we should let everybody know that you and I can see each other.
Oh, right.
So we have the advantage of getting to see each other on video cam while we do this, so that helps a lot.
Somehow it has a bit of voyeurism in here somehow. Anyway, you reminded me of that, the white T-shirt. I remember one of my most turn-on piece that I wore for my boyfriend is a cut-off black tank top. Like, I just ended up cutting it off right just below my breast, you know, so it just kind of hang my tummy out. And
right.
Yeah, and oh my gosh, you know, I wear that thing and it's a it's a hot action night kind of thing.
Well, and that's the thing. The key on that was you felt sexy in that outfit, and I think finding what you feel sexy in is important.
Yeah.
And now on the flip side, I'm going to say this though: talking to your partner about what he feels is sexy. I'm assuming that your partner's a guy.
Yeah.
If I'm a girl, I'm talking about my male partners.
Mm-hmm.
About what he thinks is sexy is important too.
Yeah.
Because you want to feel sexy, But men especially are very visual creatures, and it's important to make sure that, especially when we feel our relationship is getting a little stale or sex has become routine, that we, consider our partner. I mean, why would we not want to consider the person that we love?
Well, because it's hard, Deb. It's really hard because, I mean, like, I get on this show and he asked me, what's your show on today? And I'm like, about sexy lingerie and all that stuff. And he's like, oh, I love sexy lingerie. And, all these thoughts went through my head. The first one was like, I know. It became like a heavy thing that I carry, right? And then it became guilt. It's like, I know I should do more because now I'm talking about it on my show. And then immediately right next to that is the thought of like, yeah, but my body's just not perfect. It's got a little ripple here and a ripple there, and I don't feel sexy, and I feel a little droopy, and I don't feel like dragging that on, and it's cold right now, and and you have to turn on the heater, and oh my God, Deb, I mean, all that just happened in that nanosecond before I got on the show with you just now. Like, oh my God, here it is.
Well, and it's funny because, I was just reading, I read a lot. I was on a trip last week, and I read a ton of magazines. I normally don't read magazines, but there was a great article in this month's fitness magazine about how we perceive our bodies as so imperfect that it's destroying our sex lives.
Yeah.
And by learning, and this is one of the things that, I work on with my clients especially, is learning to accept who you are in this moment. Even if you want to change, say, I want to lose some weight, but honey, until you love yourself and accept yourself in this moment, you can't. So you in this moment deserve feeling and looking sexy.
Yeah,
as you.
Right,
but
as is.
That's for me too.
Right. Yeah.
Gosh, I've gained about 5 pounds since we started this relationship. Maybe we can. Can I suck it in the whole time? I don't think so.
Well, I know, but it was like, I didn't look like that when you first got together with me. It's been 3 years, and I've been very happy in this relationship. So it's a little like going south kind of thing, and it's really hard to pick it back up. And so I just want to like empathize and share with everybody who's listening. I'm right there with you, honey. Dressing sexy is an effort. It's a conscious choice, and it's like everything. It's like staying awake in life is an effort, So it's like dressing up, looking beautiful, accepting yourself as is, getting that sexy lingerie on despite all the other stuff, So,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So let's dive into the lingerie stuff. So why is this so important, honey?
Well, I think there's two sides of it, and you take both. First of all, is you take you as a woman, and as women, we are built for beautiful things, for silky clothing, for delicate laces, those kinds of things. And I'm not trying to stereotype here, but overall, women are attracted to those types of, either a specific feel. For some women, it may be cotton. For some women, it may be silk. For some, it may be lace. There's a texture that makes you feel
erotic and decadent and sexy
and alive. And indulge in those things, first of all, for yourself, makes you feel more confident. Because, some days I get dressed in a hurry. My partner is going to head out to work, and I'm trying to make sure he has lunch, and I throw some clothes and get him, and then, I go to get dressed for a day later. I'm like, oh my God, I put on a black bra, clean underwear. What was I thinking? But then we can go in and select, even if it's a plain black cotton bra, and I've got bright jeans and wear those together. You suddenly feel so much put together and so much texture, because you took that millisecond of effort to match something that makes you feel good.
Yeah.
So you feel good, you feel sexy, you feel confident, and you're going to be more open to your partner.
Yeah.
So that's the girl side I can say, you're dressing sexy for him. You're dressing sexy for you.
Yeah,
What
and
makes you feel good.
you know, when you remind me of not only do you feel good and feel powerful in yourself and put together, you described the lace and the silk and cotton. I just felt a real sense of giddiness, flirtation, softness, and I'm reminded too that when I do that, it also makes it a lot easier for me to surrender, to find my softness, to find my feminine side. I am so smart, and I'm like a generator and a creator and a money maker and a mom and all this responsibility. I get really masculinized and really directive. And it's really I need any help I can get, to remember my feminine side so that I can soften, I can let people in, into my heart, into connecting with me, and I can also manifest, like create and attract things in the world when I'm softened. I don't create and manifest things very well when I'm hard and pushy and directive.
It's interesting that really brings us something. So what if we as a generation or as a group made that conscious choice to say, you know what I'm going to do this week? I'm going to try it out this week. Every day this week, I am going to dress for me.
Yeah.
I am going to make sure that I'm wearing a sexy bra and, and underwear and, maybe I'm going to actually put on a dress. Even though I work from home today, I'm going to wear a dress and heels.
Yeah. Ooh, dress and heel even.
Good.
Yeah.
And dress just for ourselves this week and see what happens in the rest of our lives, to see what kind of work we create, to what kind of parent we are, what kind of partner we are.
Yeah.
How that softens us up.
Yeah. Well, like when I jump on this call with you, knowing that we're doing a Google Plus Hangout and that we're live on camera with each other, I literally ran and put on some eye makeup and brushed my hair and like let my hair down and gonna like fluff myself a little bit, partly for you but also partly for me, because I know that I am reflected on this video screen and I don't want to look at a very homely person talking about sex, because I can't get it up that way, so it's like
well, and I treated you to the whole thing of stripping for you.
I
was wearing a sweatshirt and I'm like, it's going to be a little too warm, so I stripped off and gave you a great cleavage shot.
I know. And
this is who I am today.
And you guys, you have to know that Deb has a nice rack. If I was a man, I'd be all over those things.
Well, and and one of the reasons I think that I am so in touch with lingerie and why it's such a key for me is that I'm very hard to fit. I am a 36G. And I know people are like, they even make that size? Yeah, they make that size, but it's not hard to find. So it's really difficult for me to find lingerie. And so I think I pay more attention to it because I am so hard to fit.
So you don't take yourself for granted.
Right. I don't take a good bra for granted.
So tell them
I need help. I need help.
She's grabbing her boobs, everyone, and like shoveling them around. Just the way the porn star does it.
Well, and I even went and got some lingerie out of my lingerie drawer to show May, because it's like, when we were talking about lace and silk and cotton, and I think that you need to invest in good things for yourself and what makes you feel sexy.
Yeah.
And so, of course, having a good supportive bra for women is really important.
Yeah.
Really important, that especially at a young age. I mean, both of my daughters are very well endowed, and you can choke a little bit at spending $60 on a bra for a 13-year-old, but they when you're heavy chested, sometimes you have to spend that kind of money to get a good piece of lingerie. Now, on the flip side, if you're a double D cup or under, they have amazing things at Target. And even Walmart has cute underwear. It doesn't have to be expensive.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you treat yourself as something that
Well, we could like like fast forward the show to the portion about role playing. You know, like you can go to Walmart and get all dressed up about that, and like buy really kind of like cheesy polka dot tee that you look like what was that, Patty Duke or something. You know, like they have a lot of that fun stuff there, and at Target and all that. You know, the little checker thing, and then that would just puts you in the mood of being,
Well, talk about like dress up too is Hot Topic. Have you ever been to a Hot Topic?
No, what's that?
Hot Topic is like, this is where the kids with the piercings and the tattoos and the funky colors.
Oh yeah. Oh, right.
And especially at Halloween, but even year round, they've always got little plaid skirts and all kinds of costumes.
Yes, you can do the whole schoolgirl look.
Halloween is a great time, or after Halloween is a great time to get some fun little, Alice in Wonderland, a little sexy Alice in Wonderland costume or something like that with, really inexpensive, and put it in your play stuff. We used to play dress up as little girls. Why can't we play dress up as big girls?
Yeah, you get more goodies as big girls that way. Yes. Anyway, so show me those pantyhose that you got on. Oh, do we call them pantyhose? No, we call them.
This is stockings. One of my favorite pieces of lingerie that never fails to make me feel sexy is a pair of thigh-high stockings.
Mm-hmm.
And I brought the most beautiful pair of stockings I think I've ever owned, and I brought them to show May, and they're lace.
They're
top.
Beautiful.
They've got it's like a 7-inch lace top, and it is a stocking, not a hosiery. There's no lycra in this thing. It's an old-fashioned stocking with doesn't have a seam in it, but beautiful.
I have to tell you, my boyfriend just ran in to take a sneak peek of these things on the camera.
Is this the most gorgeous piece? And it's delicate, and the great thing about thigh highs is they have the little rubbery things that help hold them up.
Yeah.
So you don't need garters, although I know a lot of guys think garters are really sexy. And stockings can be found all over the gamut. Okay, now this pair of stockings that I'm showing you, I purchased from a web store called Secrets and Lace. It's secretsandlace.com, and they have a ton of stockings and thigh highs both. And these are probably $27 stockings, but they don't. It's not like you wear them once. They're an investment piece, and they will last for lots and lots of playtime.
Oh, really?
And for me, honestly, I'll be honest. I'll put these on with a sheath dress and go out to dinner.
Yeah.
And think how sexy I feel with this beautiful piece of lingerie on, and maybe I might lift my skirt up just a little bit to show the lace to my boyfriend so that he knows that what I'm wearing under there.
He knows what's under there. Huh?
For me, I know what's under there, and that's what's important.
And you act differently.
But stockings don't have to be that expensive. I've bought stockings at Target for $8 for a pair. A Hanes black lace top, thigh highs. They stay up. You can buy them at Macy's. I've seen them at Macy's. And I've also had a pair of Wolford stockings. If you're familiar with Wolford at all, and they go upwards of like $45, $50 a pair.
Yeah.
And again, I bought a pair of stockings from Wolford for $45, and it lasted me 2 years.
Wow.
So you can look at them as investment pieces and buy something that you think is beautiful that will last for you. And so stockings are a great way. And I'm Southern. I'm a pantyhose girl. When I go to church, when I dress up for a business meeting where I need to wear a suit, I still wear pantyhose.
Wow.
And so that actually can be kind of sexy too.
Yeah. Yeah. I just find the whole thing just a nuisance.
Well, and I can say, I can remember one of the mentors that I know was like, oh, the great thing about working for yourself is you never have to wear pantyhose again.
Right.
And I'm like, yeah, but I like pantyhose.
Yeah, I know. I love it. And I have to say too that I'm not Southern. and I'm so far away from the whole stocking, especially garter belt. I know that's a hot thing too, and garter belt just seems so complicated and so intriguing, and I don't know, I don't even know how to use that thing.
Well, I mean, now I will say that I think some retro lingerie has made a big comeback, especially since Mad Men.
Yeah.
Because if you look at some of the, especially the early episodes of Mad Men, and see Joan or Betty getting dressed, they're in their girdles and things like that. And it is I think lingerie was more understated. You didn't have a lot of cleavage, and so you left a little bit more to the imagination. And think about that little patch, and this is what I think is so sexy and can be so sexy, especially with men that are visual. Because they are visual. That little patch of thigh between the top of the stocking and the bottom of the girdle or the skirt or your panties, that little piece of skin is so sexy.
That's just
that.
I love how much you know what turns a man on like that, because I'm kind of like aloof to that. It's like, oh, whatever, let's get practical here. But I have to tell you, this whole thing is like pushing up on my practical value.
Well, and that's why I bring up stores like Target and Walmart.
Yeah.
And Macy's, and we were talking about Nordstrom too earlier. I can't remember if we were broadcasting or not. But even Nordstrom's on sale. You can get really nice investment pieces of lingerie that really, you can wear every day.
Yeah. All right.
And I'm not talking stockings every day, but buy a good bra.
I love it. So, what are some other sources that we can tell them about bras? How to get a good bra?
Well, the first thing I would advise anybody, if you're anywhere near a Nordstrom and you are not quite sure if you're in the right bra, go and get a bra fitting. Nordstrom's or Dillard's, if you're near a Dillard's.
Yeah.
I don't think Macy's has trained bra fitters anymore, but and Neiman Marcus, those three stores. Yeah. And the thing is you don't have to buy a thing. They will happily fit you and help you find a bra.
Yeah.
Fit you and get you into what your right size is.
Yeah. Well, now this is an interesting thing because I actually had a situation. I had a situation where I've been sized by Nordstrom and Victoria's Secrets too, and they had sized me to be like a 30B.
Okay.
And then I went to a boutique bra shop, and she sized me, and I bought the bras, by the way, because that's what she told me. She actually sized me a 32D.
Oh, wow.
And I was with my girlfriend, who also came out with something very favorable. We bought those bras right away. Let me tell you, and they were like $80 bras, and we walked down the street together and felt like $1 million. And it was so funny. I was like, wow, I didn't know it was a size D all this time.
Well, maybe we need to get into some of the basics too of a bra too, of what is the different numbers and things. The number on a bra is actually the size on your rib cage.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then I believe they add, I can't remember, 2 or 5 inches to give space for the hooks and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the cuff size is the difference between your ribs and the center of your breast.
Mm.
And so an A means there's an inch. So your center of your breasts are an inch larger than your rib cage.
Yeah.
So A, B, C, D, E, or double D, F, or double, and then double F, and it goes on. Okay.
Wait, where's G fit? And G?
It's about 8.
Oh my God.
So I would, and the thing is, like a lot of times you can't find, like say you can find a double D. Say you're a 36 double D.
Yeah.
You can probably wear 38D. Because if you go up the band size a little bit, it gives you less of a way to be able to get into a cup.
Yeah. Hmm.
But get a size thing. you more comfortable in that 32D than you are in a 36B?
You know, somehow at that moment I was. Size does matter. I don't care what people say. And when someone has lived with a B cup mentality all their life, and then to be pronounced that you are a D cup, it was like the sky opened up. Let me tell you, I was so happy. I felt like a somebody then.
So what have you done since? I'm curious. What have you done since? Are you still buying? Which size bras are you buying now?
I'm back to the Nordstrom Rack 34, 36B. I do, you know, I have over the years increased my budgets around pretty bras.
Okay.
And really, like, I'm willing to spend the higher price on a pretty bra, because I do feel really beautiful in those bras, and I also struggle too, Deb. We hadn't planned on talking about this, but I do struggle too about breast cancer and things. You know, like, there is such a body of knowledge out there about how when you contain your bras and you don't have enough circulation, blood circulations and all that stuff around your boobies, that you actually, that does increase your chance of getting breast cancer. So I had my the mammogram done a couple years ago, and they said that you don't have breast cancer, but you definitely show signs of typical women who live in this kind of country and who are under that normal level of stress, that you would eventually develop breast cancer, which kind of wigged me out. And yeah, and had me, you know, and one of the solutions she said was to don't wear underwire bra, and don't wear thick cover bra, and in fact don't wear bras, and let, you know, as much as possible to let yourself has more blood circulation. So, now we're opening a brand new can of worms. Let me tell you about that one.
And you know, and the thing is if you are an A cup or a B cup or even a C cup, you probably can go braless.
Yeah.
But honey, I'm telling you, if you are a D or larger, you know, going braless. I mean, honestly, I don't even buy non-underwear bras.
Yeah.
Every bra I own has an underwire. I've tried the soft cut bras. I've tried them, and they just don't support. And so then you're left with the stuff with your back and your shoulders. I mean, this is a pretty practical bra stride. But, you know, the thing is, you know, eventually it does pull on your shoulders and your back. And, like, when I have a long day, it's not unusual for me to change bras.
Yeah.
During the day, say, well, I've been wearing this one too long, and change to a different style, just a different bra that maybe a little, and this is a different style to bring some comfort.
Yeah. Well, let's get
We got totally off of that, but we were talking about other places to buy. The other place I really recommend for bras is a place, and I had to look it up. It's called Linda's Online. And it's LINDASONLINE.com. You can buy the gamut of bras, panties, and the other thing they have, especially if you're hard to fit, this is huge, they sell swimsuits in cup sizes.
Ooh la la.
So last year when I was getting ready to go on a trip, I bought 2 really hot, sexy bikinis, and I was able to get them that I knew that fit well because I went online and I bought them in my size exactly. They've got great customer service. You know, you just call them, you send them an email, they'll help you figure out what size you need. They tell you, hey, this bra runs a little big, or this bra runs a little small, or hey, this is great to go with it. Mix and match. Wonderful, wonderful customer service. And then I'm actually on their newsletter list, and they send out great newsletters once a month.
Wow.
And it's Linda's Online.
That's awesome.
And they have brick and mortar in the city.
Really? Huh. Okay. Well, let me take a quick break. It's already half the hour has gone past. Let me take a quick break, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about role play and talking dirty. How's that? Here we go.
Okay, that's great.
Tell me lies, tell
is always looking for new angles on sex and lies to raise our consciousness. If you have ideas for a show, please contact her at may@mayvucoach.com. That's MAI@MAIVUcoach.com. Or go to her page on Facebook, Sex, Lies, and Consciousness. While there, please like her page and add your suggestions.
Tell me sweet little lies. Oh, no, you can't disguise.
Welcome back, everyone. And today we're talking about unleashing your kitty and talking about lingerie, role-playing, talking dirty in bed so that you can just unleash yourself and have more fun time, more play with your partners and with yourself, actually. I'm with my partners in crime, Deborah Smoose, and we are going to talk about talking dirty talk in bed, because I just find this one really hard. I can't open my mouth and say anything out of the ordinary. How about you?
I'll be honest, I've never been much for a lot of dirty talk.
Yeah.
But one of the things that I found that has enhanced my personal sex life for my partner is to talk about how it feels. Talk about what he's doing and how it feels. Or to describe later our encounter to him when I'm wanting to get him in the mood. Just little whisperings of things. And this is where, like they talk about sexting or stuff like that. I would never sext anything too, graphic, but, those things. But like you, it's like, because we're taught that we need to be good girls, and good girls don't say those bad words. Right? And how sexy is it to say, oh, your penis? Oh. Right?
Well, I'm not sure if anything is sexy for me around that. Your cock, your penis, it's kind of ranked the same place for me, but apparently it has different effects for other people. So I feel like a total failure in this department. It's like, that's kind of what it's like. Oh, the best I could do is, your cock is so hard.
Have you tried Sin So Big?
So yeah, I think the two of us should really stretch and say something really naughty, even though it makes us feel really sick in our stomach, so that the audience can get, and if anybody in the audience who are listening and have something to contribute, please call in. This is a place where I really need your help. It's I said I don't really know how to talk dirty, and I even had an ex-lover who tried to train me on that, and I just sucked big time. He literally had to call one of those 900 numbers so that I can hear another woman talking dirty for me, so I could have some vocabulary to do that. So
you're hitting on a lot of things here, actually. One is, we want to stretch ourselves.
Yeah.
But two, always keeping it within the boundaries of what you're comfortable as well.
I know, honey, but if we're keeping in the boundaries of
stretching, and there's a pushing yourself too hard, and there's that delicate balance, and it's by that leaning into it, by saying something a little naughty, that makes you lean into saying something really naughty.
Yeah, and it's so to me it's much bigger underneath it, right? I mean it's that lifetime of clamping down on our sex and our desire, that's what has me not be able to say it a lot of times, and to just all the judgment and all the layers of oh, that's so crude and that's so beneath you, and why would you say that? It's just so oh man, it's just hard to undo that lifetime of suppression.
Right. So what is where is your line drawn, I guess, as far as what is dirty and what makes us uncomfortable? I mean, when you're describing a man's body, you said both cock and penis.
Cock and penis. Well, I'm now used to saying the word cock and penis. As you can see, I could say now on radio. But like 3 years ago, I couldn't. So that's let's see, what else can I say? Like, well, and this is kind of tying with the role playing too, because if you want to role play, you have to like be a different persona than yourself. So I'm so locked into who I am and the way I see myself. It's really hard for me to try something else. I know the other day I did I was actually taking a class, a pro dominatrix class, so that I can stretch my boundaries and range and what I can do as a human being, And one of the things that we got to practice was creating a scene where we can create any kind of scene, to act out. And I had a partner in crime, and I had a quote unquote a victim, a person to practice on, kind of thing. And we did a doctor and nurse scene, and that was so hilarious, and it was so awkward for me to do and to say naughty things as a nurse, but right, but wearing a costume, putting on the costume and putting into that persona really helped. And then having a partner that was really helpful, and then to say, doctor, I think we should give him an enema. I was like, did I just say that out loud?
A little script?
No, we didn't have that script. That just kind of came out of me, and I was like, whoa.
Well, because this is something actually that maybe would be helpful, is to kind of script yourself with someone you really trust, whether it's a coach or your best girlfriend, of ideas of things you can say, and then flipping them out.
Yeah.
So like, what about telling your partner, oh, I'm so wet.
Ooh.
Maybe it isn't. Maybe it doesn't have to be.
I can text that a lot easier.
Yeah. Maybe it's just about so you can't say it. What about when you're in bed and you're like right before you start and say, oh, you're making me so wet.
Yeah. Or I want you to take your finger and fuck me. Like that. I can now say that.
Okay, so you can now say fuck me.
Yeah,
okay.
Out loud. I know.
I just tried it.
It's so.
And you're blushing, honey.
I know. It's so funny to hear me on this show compared to all the shows in the past I've done, because I come across really bold and as if like I've experienced and experimented with so many things, which I have actually, and I just also want to share the side of me that's very real, that is like, oh my God, it's not that easy, and it's very vulnerable, and it's new, and it's awkward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
and
that's part of stretching.
Yeah. So I want to hear from you, honey. I want to hear some lines that you can say.
To me, that's one of my turn-ons of God, you're making me so wet. Because it covers two things. One, I'm very honest about where I am physically. I'm getting aroused. My body is reacting to you, and I'm getting wet. And it's also telling my partner, you're doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Because I am getting without saying, oh, sweetheart, I'm so aroused.
Let's do it mechanical. Wait, me? Then I have to just tell them I am aroused. So I'm aroused. In there, like, oh yeah, practice moaning. That's also really important too. Like
practice moaning.
Yes, and breathing. Long breath also enhance the mood a little, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like in the scene, but I mean, part of it is to be very honest with where you're, and don't edit yourself during sex.
Oh, God, honey. Good luck for that one.
Right? And it's hard. It is hard. But that's why I said, writing some of this stuff down, like scripting some of that stuff out. I'm not a huge fan of porn, honestly. Not my thing.
Yeah.
But there's nothing wrong with educational porn.
But actually, now let's put that. Our educational porn that's actually really good. Like if people live in San Francisco area, can go to vibration. There are a lot of good porn there that you can watch. You can see people dress and get creative and all that stuff. That's hot.
I'm thinking just educational things. Say, well, how do I start with the dirty talk? You know, and I wish I'd thought about it before, but I'll look and see if I can find it. Like, there's a porn site that's free. There's a bunch of porn sites that are free, but I don't think it puts a lot of cookies on your thing, on your computer.
Yeah.
And
Well,
maybe I can find a couple of links that we can send that
Well,
maybe have a lot of dirty talk.
oh.
That to listen for an example and say, well, what can I say? You know, and that again comes to the conversation with your partner. I mean, does he want you to talk dirty in bed? Do you want him to talk dirty in bed? I mean, how would you feel if he called you what?
Ooh.
You're being such a little slut for me.
Yeah.
How does that make you feel? Would it make you feel good or bad?
Right. Well, yeah, and those things too are really tricky too, because like certain words would enhance and certain words would shut it down, and you just never know. And I think that's part of my thing too. Is like I don't know what to say, so I don't want to say anything that might shut it down. So I get scared about that. And sometimes like I know, like there's also the language of role playing too. Like Big Daddy. Like I do call my boyfriend Big Daddy, and it works really well for us, and it has him feel really big and strong and powerful and hot and all that stuff. So it works, but other people might not work for that. So you just have to play with
like,
those
I can tell you that my boyfriend, Daddy, would never be one of his turn-offs.
See?
When I dated someone that would say like, "Ooh, tell Daddy what you want," and I'm like, "Ooh, are we playing that kind of game?"
I know.
I mean,
And I had to.
it's the difference in personality. For me, I'm a chameleon. I can flow either
Yeah.
way.
Well, I had to do that too. I had to overcome my noise in my head and my rigidity in my head, because when that first got thrown around, I was just kind of like, oh great, now I'm some sicko, psychotic, whatever, daddy issues, blah blah blah. I don't know how to be a little girl, and blah blah blah. And I worked all my life to be such a strong woman. How could I possibly be a little girl? It's like, wow, all that noise just like killed everything.
Right, and that's the thing. And this is a whole other topic to talk about, but, learning to shut out the voices in our heads, from the outside societal view,
Yeah.
and allow ourselves to just be and feel and experience.
Yeah. So let's do a little bit more. I'm noticing we only have 10 minutes left, so let's do a bit more on role play and what they can do, and then we could do the quick tips on do's and don'ts when it comes to playing and turning on, unleashing your kitty.
Okay. Well, we had talked before, May and I had talked ahead of time, and I think that role play is a great way to spice up any relationship, especially committed relationship that you've been in for more than a year or longer. You trust each other, obviously, and if you have kids, you may have to get a little creative, but, one of my probably favorite scenarios to take you back to kind of really refresh things is meeting at a bar and picking each other up at a bar, because you're gonna score that night, okay? But you go into the bar like you don't know each other, and you role play as if you're strangers. And it brings to mind all of those first feelings of when you first met and that honeymoon phase. And that's why I think it's a really safe role play for both men and women. Because it's like you're picking up a stranger or you're just meeting him, and it brings up all of those great endorphins
and the newness and the excitement and the mystery again.
Excitement while still being perfectly safe and contained in your relationship.
Yeah.
I think that's huge. And you were talking about the daddy issues. I don't know very many men that don't think that a little plaid skirt is something sexy.
I think they like that, especially the short one.
Exactly. I mean, like we go to there's a restaurant around here called The Pub, and all the waitresses wear plaid skirts. above the knee plaid skirts, and they do it because the men like it, right? I mean,
Yeah.
in a sports bar, they think it's sexy, and there's nothing wrong with bringing that into your bedroom.
Yeah. Well, I also made a list of different role plays, different things, because like when I try to do role play, suddenly my brain just completely goes to the uncreative part, and I don't know how to role play. I don't know what to play, So until somebody go, well, you could try being a naughty schoolgirl, that gets called to the principal. Well, now that's interesting. Suddenly it's like, oh, okay, I could try to kind of figure that one out.
Right.
You can do. This one I came up with myself. I'm not quite sure how this play out, but Judge Judy.
Oh, that's Judy. You have boss and secretary on the list?
Yeah, and you could even add a little spanking on that one. That's kind of cool,
Exactly.
And then another one I wrote was like gypsy, like being just gypsy and people who just don't have the same kind of boundaries and the same kind of requirements that we all get stuck behind. Or a mother reprimanding the little boy. Now we're reversing the power. And then let's see what else. A candy striper, or a nurse, a damsel in distress, and one of my favorite, cop and street walker. That could be a little abusive and a little, really intense play there.
Oh.
It's getting a little naughty in here.
Well, see, that's the thing. This is where you take an idea and run with it.
Yeah. Uh-oh, I think I lost her. Deb, you have to come back. Anyway, so I'm gonna take us into the tips of do's and don't, because that feels like just making that list of role play brought up a whole bunch of inhibitions inside me. And so here's something to do. Do be open-minded. And know that you are entitled to experience these parts of yourself and these parts of your mind, and there's nothing wrong with you, even though you've been told in the past that this stuff is bad and wrong. It's not. You are fine, and you get to play with these things, and you're not psychotic just because you want to put a little role play and talk a little dirty and wear, sexy lingerie. Speaking of that, I should show you my girlfriend just handed me these pair of underwear for my boyfriend, and she got it for hers, but it didn't work out for them, so she passed them down to me. But let's check these out. They say, Batman!
Oh, awesome!
So they're men's briefs for Batman.
Guys can dress up for us too.
Exactly. We can definitely play with that. So be open-minded. Breathe a lot. This stuff brings up stuff, so just breathe right through it, and when you breathe, you open up, you release endorphins, and you allow for more play to happen inside you. And also, it's a great opportunity to trust yourself and trust your partner. That's what all of this is for, isn't it? I mean, you do all these crazy things so that you can develop trust and intimacy.
Exactly. Well, and that's the thing, I think we were talking about earlier, is allow yourself to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
If you're the strong one, allow yourself to be vulnerable and soft, and know that you're going to be safe.
Yeah. And then do some research. Now, research are fun to do, especially with your boyfriend or your partner, And I get to see, when you earlier offered to look up some porn site, I'm like, oh, sure, she's going to research that. She's going to get some benefit out of that, too. So do research, Google outfits, Google costume, Google makeup, do YouTube on makeup and stuff so that you can really put in a different, Lady Gaga persona kind of thing. And take some time to prepare, because this stuff takes time. It takes consciousness. It takes willingness to put that first, to put your relationship and your eroticism first, rather than just working hard and paying the bills first.
Right. Well, and that's the thing. I mean, when everyone says they work hard because they want to provide for their family, have a good relationship, but yet we're not spending time on it. Spend some time on your relationship. It deserves it. You deserve it. You deserve to have a wonderful relationship, and it takes work.
Yeah, it does. I know it sounds funny. It takes work to play well, but that could be a new slogan for me. It takes work to play well. So
it does take work and preparation, but gosh, it's worth it.
Yeah, and I love it when the guy, takes some time and plan the whole scene for me and that kind of stuff. It's like, ooh, that's really hot. And us girls, us women are responsible for that too. We need to step up on our play and our equal contribution to the feel good of the partnership. and the last do that we have is like, do use blindfolds. It's really, in any situation, it always helps. It helps the guy being like a captive. It helps you to shut your mind out so that you don't have all your noise in your head that gets in the way. Blindfolds are our best friends. They're easy, they're cheap, and they're safe to use.
Exactly.
Yeah. Let's do the don't. Do you want to do the don't, say? Oh, you don't have it.
I don't know if I have that document over.
Okay. So don't judge. Don't whine, don't complain, don't blame, don't get pissy. that kind of behavior is just poor sportsmanship. We just kind of like foul on you if you pull that stunt. So no judging, whining, complaining, blaming, and getting pissy about it. Kitties are playful. They're not bitchy unless it's a role play.
Right.
And then another don't is don't have expectation for a specific outcome. Like if you start the play, the rest will just unfold in its natural way. So if you are attached and have to make it a certain way, you're going to kill it.
Right.
That's just simple. And take that into life also. Just go play with life. Don't get so serious. And then don't make up silly stories about yourself. Don't make up stories that you're not this or you're not that or, anything. All those stories are just not helpful to us and our sexiness and our power and sense of who we are and our freedom. So you can let those go.
Right. And when you're talking about that too is don't automatically say, well, I'm not going to enjoy that or I won't enjoy that if you haven't tried it. At least try it. Be open-minded. Yeah.
And don't get so complicated and set up failure for yourself and your partner. Make it simple. It doesn't have to be a big thing. Like Deb said, go get a shirt. Go get one of his shirts and then walk around the house in that and a pair of sexy black lace underwear and you're good to go.
Exactly.
Yeah. And last but not least, don't use this to trap your partner. So in other words, don't use your expectations to play and all that stuff to trap and hurt your partner. Like if he's not measuring up or she's not measuring up, don't use that to hurt each other. Use it to increase fun and play and intimacy.
Right. And that's because this is the whole goal of this. This is about stretching your boundaries, but it really is about strengthening that bond with you and your partner.
Right.
And being more confident in yourself and your sexuality.
Yes. And then taking it out into the world so that when you are confident and sexy in the bed, you get to be confident and sexy in the workplace. You will feel safe in the workplace to do that, and that actually adds to your leadership, to your power. It does not take away despite what people have told you or what your crazy mind told you.
Not at all.
So I mean,
I agree. If you're very confident in your sexual power, you're going to be confident with everything that you do.
Exactly. So, and that's what I'm all about. This show all about like empowering all of us, both men and women, to be hot, to be confident in the world, and be sexy in the world, and know that we handle our sensuality and our sexuality. That just because we feel that in our body, it doesn't mean we're going to go and sex with everybody in the world, kind of thing. In fact, those who tried it, I'm one who goes out in the world and do crazy, funky things. That's another show. Oh, shoot. Well, thank you so much, Steph, for being here today. And
I had so much fun.
oh, good. I'm glad. if they want to get a hold of you, how do they do that, Deb?
They can find me at Deborah, Debra Smouse, SMOUSE.com, or on Facebook. I have my personal page is Deb Smouse, and my business page is Deborah Smouse, Facebook.com/Deborah Smouse. Contact me any of those venues and just drop me a line. I'm happy to have a little conversation or help. And this is the thing, don't be afraid if you have a coach or looking at a coach, don't be afraid to talk about these kind of issues with your coach.
Absolutely. Even if they're executive coaching.
Exactly.
Yes. One of my favorite, most powerful question I've ever asked an executive was, so you got everything going on, how come you're not hot? And it took him aback, and he was like, oh my gosh, I have given up on my hotness. I became a dad, and I, started working and blah blah blah, and it just opened up so much for us. So anyway, it was really fun.
Great.
Yes. Okay. As usual, Sex, Lies, and Consciousness is about talking about sex, naming the lies, and raising our consciousness so that we can have fun and more access to our sex and reclaim it and continue to grow ourselves and bring ourselves out into the world. You can find me, you can email me at MAI at mayvucoach.com, MAIVU coach.com, or you can find me on Facebook, Mayvu on Facebook. Have a wonderful day, everyone, and I will talk to you next week. Bye, Deb.
Bye, Bree.